Did you like the EP, the whole EP? Did you listen to the whole EP?
I did. I've actually listened to it a few times over. I was jamming it on the way in today.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's really cool, and you know what I wanted to to ask you, man, just to give the audience a little bit of background on the band is how you guys got started, and what's how'd that come about? How the band started. I know you guys are a young band. What, 2013? You started out?
Yeah, yep. We started around 2013. That's correct. The way it started is I've been in bands for years, and our lead singer Bubba McMichael, and we are from Richmond, so we've been in a band together. We were in another band previous to Red Rain since 2001. And basically how this thing started was the band previously was an all-original band as well. We did some shows in Richmond, had some good shows.
Right.
And then we kind of disbanded in about 2008, and just kind of, I put my drums down for a while. I was like, I had enough. I really didn't want to play in a cover band,
Right.
I've done it for so many years, and, as you get older, you don't want to be in a bar at 1 a.m.
Right.
Not only that, but you don't want to be in a bar at 1 a.m. just starting to get on stage, because all these, in Richmond, they would book 4 or 5 bands.
Right.
And so anyway, Bubba and I got together, and we started rewriting. And when I say we, now when I say we write, it's him. I don't do any writing, but I'll say we as a band.
Right.
But Bubba started writing. We had some previous material from our previous band that I thought was really good. So we got together. We found Larry right off the bat, Larry Moore, who was our bass player,
right,
and started playing, started writing, and then we eventually found Stevie to really complete the band. And that's really, kind of full circle. There's obviously little details that I left out, but that's the gist of it.
And what was cool is just listening this morning when I was, like I said, when I was coming in, is the band's bio has the influences, the 80s influences and everything. And one thing that I noticed that you guys kind of remind me of is there's a little bit of Night Ranger in there too, which I think is cool.
Oh, nice. Now, see, that's the first I've heard of that. But I'll take it. They were great. I'll take it.
Right.
We all have our influences. We're all product of the 80s.
Right.
And you read the bio. I mean, pretty correct. I'm a huge Monster, David Lee Roth Van Halen fan. So
right.
Some of the drumming I try to bring in is that sort of boom, Alex Van Halen boom sound. Larry is a Queensryche Rush type bass player, kind of that. That's his influences. And Stevie is sort of a Dockenish, kind of 80s Poisonous, that type of guitar player. And Bubba has a lot of mix. I mean, he's from Iron Maiden to a band called Jimmy Necco, who I've never heard of. But
right.
Bubba's influence is from the 60s to the 90s. So we bring that in there, and the way I answer that is a lot of people say we sound like an 80s band. The thing is, the way I describe it is a good song's a good song. You play what you like, and you know what, if people like it, that's great. But we just kind of found a rhythm of songs that we felt like had good hooks and good rhythms, and some good choruses in there, and it suited us.
Yeah, you could see all the different influences too. I mean, throughout in Bubba's writing too. I mean, just like you said, his influences are like Iron Maiden, and and then you have influences Van Halen and things. So it all really comes across in the music, which is nice, because it shows diversity, and I think a lot of fans don't want to see like I always say, one trick pony. I mean, you don't want to have somebody just going up there and playing the basic stuff. I mean, you guys feature a lot of different sides, and that's really good. I mean, I think that's cool.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Thank you. The good part is, and I'm sure we'll probably get into it, but we took the basic foundation, but when we actually met David Ivory and got to him, I mean, he really brought a lot more of it out, if that makes sense.
Right.
Because we I don't know if we actually put a CD out before the Red Rain EP. It was called Chasing Shadows.
Right.
And it was self-titled. And it's a good CD, but you can tell when you listen to it, it's night and day compared to the EP.
Right.
So when we got to David, we had the foundation, we had the the words, we had the music, but David kind of changed a little bit here, changed a little bit there, and it really brought out those sounds better than what we had on our original CD. So yeah, I mean, the influences kind of flourished a little bit better once David got a hold of them.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, you need to see like a different aspect, you know, somebody from the outside, you know, coming in and seeing things a little differently. But he did a great job, I mean, producing this too. It has a great sound. It's full. It's you know, it's tight. It projects well. So and it's a very nice listen, that's for sure.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, and he was phenomenal. I mean, I don't know if you know much about David, but he, you know, when you meet somebody of his stature, you know, who's got these award, you know, Grammys and all this stuff, it's like, you know, you expect for somebody like us, you know, he gets on the phone and you would expect him to say, hey, listen, guys, I've been here, I've done that. If you want to do it, we're going to do it my way. He was never like that at all. He,
right.
You know, we got on the phone with him, and it was like, hey, you guys got some really good riffs here, you got some really good stuff, but your arrangements kind of just stink. You know, the arrangements need to be better. So he really didn't change anything that we were doing. He didn't change the vibe. He didn't change the meaning of the song. You know, Bubba does all the writing. Lyrically.
Right.
You know, I completely stay out of that, because I do more of the business work. I'm sort of the business guy in the band, and
right.
So, you know, David never really touched that. He may have changed a word here or there, kind of, you know, but that was the great part, is he took what we had and he did. He made it flow a little better than we had it, and you can hear that in the EP. So yeah, David was wonderful.
Now, when you guys went, you know, you transitioned from the, you know, the first album and then going into you know, doing this EP. What was, you know, what were you looking for, you know, going into the studio? I know you had the, you know, David involved but what were you guys looking for as a band? I mean, what kind of, you know, what did you want to put into this as far as music-wise?
Well, so that's a good question. So we played a show in Richmond a couple years ago with Salava.
Okay.
And it was an okay show. I mean, as far as attendance-wise, it wasn't that good. We played really well, but I realized when I got off the stage at that point, it's like, you know what, we've got to go one or two ways. We're either going to end this, because we're an all-original band. We don't play covers. And so you know how it is. Ballers want covers, and they want people, and they want, in Richmond, I don't know where it is right else, but in Richmond, they want like 3 one-hour sets of covers. You know, that's all horseshit. You know
right,
what I mean?
Right. I agree.
I'm not doing that. And so I was like, okay, it's got to go one way or the other. And so within a long story that I'll keep short, we found Chip, and we found, you know, through Chip, we found David. And so what we decided was, what we wanted was to play really shows out of Richmond. We really kind of wanted to get on festivals. We really didn't really want to go on tour, because, you know, we all have families. I have the youngest daughter the youngest child out of the band. I have an 8-year-old.
Right.
So I wasn't looking to go away for 3 or 4 months. You know, for me personally, I'm not looking to make millions, and obviously, you know, there's not millions in the music unless you're at the very top. But what we were really looking to do was put out great music, get it to as many people in the world as we could, and hit maybe 1 or 2 shows a month if possible. And that was really our goal.
Right.
And we're starting to see that. You know, we just finished a show with Riot, and now we're doing 3 dates with Tesla.
I think that's cool. I saw you guys were you're opening for Tesla, I think, in Cincinnati, and
that's correct.
We're going to the Tesla show August 8th. Yeah, here in Pittsburgh, so in Greensburg actually, and I was hoping you guys were opening, and I looked at it and said, oh man.
Yeah. We tried. Somehow, I don't know really what happened. We were looking for 6 shows on that tour, which would have brought us down into there and into Baltimore. And apparently, the only shows they had open were the first 3, so we took them. And they just announced yesterday that Tesla's coming to Richmond. So we are like salivating to get this show. We have everybody working on it. So, you know, in hometown, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I wish we were coming. We've actually had about 6 people from that area, your area, ask if we were coming there, but unfortunately we're not. I would love to do that.
Right, we would have been happy to have you. Maybe one of these days, you know, you guys would get
I wish you can come to Cincinnati.
Oh, I know. I wish I could. It's like 4 hours away. That's the only thing. And then trying to get the time, you know, to be able to get out there.
Sure.
It would be awesome though, but you know, hopefully you guys get that show in Richmond. You know what? You guys on the show with Tesla, I think that's a great fit.
It's an unbelievable fit. I mean, we couldn't have been any happier. We probably couldn't have found a better band.
Right.
And you know what's funny is, it's like, I guess good things, you know, if you wait, good things come, because we've been turned down like by 5 other bands. We tried to get on the show with Yngwie. We tried to get on the show with Y&T. I love Y&T. I mean,
me too.
Really wanted that show, but it just didn't pan out. And then you know, lo and behold, you know, you start getting kicked in the gut a couple times. You're like, this isn't going well, and then boom, this happens, and then it changes the whole structure of what you're doing.
Right.
And that's for me, not only as the drummer, but as somebody who's, I mean, I put this band together. Look, we're a democracy. Whatever decision we make as a group, but I'm the one that really deals with Chip, and I'm the one that deals with David. It's because I do all the business stuff, but it's so, and the only reason I'm telling you that is because now when you see this stuff come to fruition, I understand that all the work and all the disappointments are finally starting to show, you know, or some good things are coming in, so it's remarkable to watch that.
You're absolutely right. I mean, if you're dedicated and you got the passion, and you guys obviously do, you know, it's...
yeah, we love playing. I mean, you know, it's and that's the thing, you know, I mean, you know, it's funny, as an all-original band, I know they're out there, and I know there's a lot of great bands. I mean, I listen to Hard Radio, even though it just kind of changed their format, but hardradio.com was a great place to listen to bands that were unsigned, and there's some great bands out there that aren't getting the hype.
Right.
And, you know, and we still haven't gotten the maximum hype that I think we can get, but, you know, the good thing about it is we just want to be on stage. I don't even. You can put us in a cornfield and put a stage in there. We'll be happy. You know,
right.
And we just love playing on stage and love playing for people. And I love meeting new people. So usually after every show, we go out to our merch table and we actually sit there and try to meet people and talk to people. We opened for Lita Ford in December, and we went to the merch table. I think the show was over at 11:15. We didn't leave till like midnight.
Right.
Just want, you know, they just want to talk to you.
Right.
And I love that, you know. And I'm not looking for people to come and go, hey, you're great. I just love that, because I'll take the good with the bad. You know, I always, in any interview I've done, I've always given my email, and I always say, hey, listen to the EP. If you love it, send me a note saying you love it. But if you don't love it, send me a note too. I'd love to know why you didn't like it. And I'm cool with that. We know we're not for everybody, but I'd love to hear feedback. Of course, I haven't gotten any. So
that's good.
I guess that's good. Yeah, I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, you're doing something right, and that means a lot to the fans too. I mean, you know, there's artists that you know, that go out there and, you know, they hit the stage and immediately, as soon as the show's over, they walk out.
Yeah.
And it's
and look, I understand. Look, like I said, as a Van Halen fan, Van Halen's obviously not going to come out in the crowd and talk to people, Aerosmith and those. But you know, when you're up and coming, and I don't care if somebody pays $20, I don't care if somebody pays 1 penny to come see you. They're taking whatever money they have and they're coming to see you. And I think they've earned that right. You know, that's just me, because you know, back when I was younger in college, there was a good friend of mine who played in a band back in the 80s, and they had some success. They actually toured the East Coast, but they were a little bit of a depressive band. But Drummer and I became really good friends, and he was such a great guy. And the other guys in the band were great too, but I remember they played a show in Richmond, and there was probably like 3,000 or 4,000 people there at the time. And it was in VCU, this college at VCU. We had a thing called Schaefer Court. It was just really 3 steps in a little stage. But they had beer trucks. I mean, it was such a great time. But I remember when the show was over, my buddy Mark, the drummer, walked right out into the crowd, started talking to you. One of the other 3 guys kind of went into their dressing room, and you never saw them. And I thought I was like, you know, that's before I really became friends with him. Like, that's cool. So I walked up, introduced myself, and we started talking. And, you know, lo and behold, we became good friends. But, I mean, he was just as nice as he could be. And they had just gotten off a tour with Eddie Money at that time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so it was like, I never forgot that, ever. So, you know, I don't be one of these guys where somebody says, hey, take a picture. I go, hey, not right now, you know, I'm busy, you know, never. It's never like that at all. Right.
And it says a lot. Like, you know, you mentioned Y&T earlier, and Dave Meniketti is that way. I mean, that whole band now, even back, you know, I know we met those guys, I think it was in like the late 90s when Phil Kennemore was still alive, and you know, I mean, autographs, And the last time, Dave, was talking to us. He gave us guitar picks. He was, the nicest guy in the world. Took pictures, talked about
awesome.
the show. And you can see. If you're going to be a band that has staying power, you got to touch the fans, and I think that's great that you guys are doing that. It's kudos to you.
We have to. What good's it going to do me if I play a show and I walk out and somebody says, "Hey, great show," and I say, "Hey, thanks a lot, man, but I can't talk to you right now." Nobody's going to come pay to see that again.
Right.
And then you don't get feedback. Because sometimes people say, "Hey, that was a great song," but look, we're not going to change what we do, obviously, but anybody who pays to see us has the right to tell us what they want to tell us. And it may not be good, but you know what? If you can't take the bad with the good, then you're in the wrong business.
Right. Yeah, you got to have a thick skin.
And that's
no
my
doubt.
opinion.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm glad to hear Dave make because I love Y&T. I really do, and I thought they were so underrated, and I still think they are.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Totally agreed. We're actually trying to. We're trying to work an interview with him. Now they're on tour right now, so his wife Jill's the one that handles the stuff, and so eventually hopefully that's going to happen.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, Chip told me his wife kind of runs the show. We were working on a show down at the Fillmore, I think in North Carolina, the Fillmore Bar down there, or whatever that place is. But it ended up being an evening with Y&T, and I was like, oh my gosh, man, come on. I need a break. It was like when we were kind of like, I need a break, and then we just got this email about the Tesla thing. I'm like, okay, that's a pretty good break. I'll take that one.
That is a really good break, because Tesla brings in the, Y&T would, but I think Tesla is like a better match for you guys. I think that the audience will definitely be your target. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. I think Y&T would have too, but yeah, Tesla, the thing about Tesla, somebody asked me today why I thought Tesla was still kind of popular. I think they're popular for a couple reasons. Still, A is they have good songs. Their songs are solid and they're good, and there's some great songs. But overall, I'll say they're just solid and great. And they have a wide variety of songs that anybody can hear. But here's what I think is number one is I saw them in Richmond about a year ago, and they were fantastic, and they sound the same, which is number two. And number three is, and I think this is good, is most of the members are still in the band, if not all of them. I think there's one member that wasn't the original.
Right, I think, I'm trying to think of who it is. Is it Tommy?
It might have been in their rhythm guitar player.
I think it is, yeah. Tommy Scotch, I think, is the guy that's not there anymore.
Yeah, but for the most part, it's the original band,
Right.
And I think that's a lot too,
Right.
I had this interview, so another, and I would like to mention this, so with another person or two people who have really helped Red Rain flourish is Wendell Neely and Chris Aiken of the Classic Metal Show.
Cool.
Do you know them?
I know of them, yeah.
Yeah,
I do know that.
Neely's been. I've known Neely for 17 years, and he was a supportive of Bubba and I's old band, which was called Seth, and he's been really supportive. Him and Chris have been supportive. But Neely and I, Neely and I've had this discussion many times because I'm a huge Van Halen fan, and we were talking after he saw it. He's like, David Lee doesn't have it anymore, and David Lee can't sing, and being a fan is like, David Lee really was never a great singer anyway. That wasn't his strong point.
Right.
And everybody knew that, but he was probably if not the greatest frontman. He's got to be considered one of the top 2 or 3.
Agreed.
By all means. But the reason why people still go see Van Halen is because David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen are on stage together.
You're right.
And I really believe, I know Sammy's been chiming in about doing a reunion, and I think people go see it, but it won't have the same effect because I really believe it's the original members. But
right.
I'm tailing off, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
David, I saw, even when he was with his solo band, the guy just, he's just mesmerizing on stage, the stuff that he does, and I saw him, back in the 80s, with the solo band, and I was like, he never stood still. It was always, he had the crowd into it. Yeah, he's a great front man, there's no doubt.
Well, it's funny, people say, you can't sing, or when at the last couple tours, and you know, I heard somebody saying, oh, you know, he doesn't even know the words. I'm like, no, he knows the words. I said, but I'll tell you right now, why don't you get up on stage and run around for 2 hours and see if you can sing every single word? The reason why is because you listen to these other boy bands, whatever, that are basically taped in.
Right.
They're all there dancing. I'd like to see them sing live when they were dancing around doing stuff. I mean, people just don't get it, which is, like, you can't expect them to. But
right.
you know, you said something funny, because even when Dave last year can't sing, and even though he's lost a lot of his, or not lost it, he's gotten older. You know, he's not jumping off the riser. The fact that I was watching the crowd, he still commands people to watch him.
Right.
I think that's pretty impressive.
That is.
And I think there's only a couple of people who can do it. I think Steven Tyler's another one. I think Paul Stanley's another one.
Right.
That they command the audience, and they keep the focus, not really on them, but they keep the focus on the music and the band and all stuff. So, yeah, we don't have that yet. we're not there yet.
Well, you guys are getting there. I mean, how's the? I was going to ask you. Now we're talking about the audience and everything. How's the crowd reacting to the new EP? I mean, it's
unbelievable.
That's great.
And that's one thing I told Chip is, look, you get us a show, and we'll win over people. We just the Lita Ford thing. Half the crowd was ours, but we got some fans there. We went to Lynchburg, Virginia, and we did the Quiet Riot show, and we played in front of people who did not know us, and it's actually funny because it was a huge venue, and they didn't really have a dressing room or anything. So there was a couple bands before us before we went on, but I had changed into my stage clothes, which is basically black and a t-shirt. I wear my classic metal t-shirt, but I was walking around and I saw people looking at me. So and nobody said a word, and I go on stage and we play, and people just were loving it. And I get off, and all of a sudden I had like all these people come up and go, "Oh, if I knew that was you, I'd have talked to you." I didn't know, but we had, which was really fun.
Right.
But we had a lot of people who really our website and Facebook and all that were hit, 200 or 300 people about 2 days after that.
Great.
Yeah. So that's the beauty, is wherever we're playing, we really are winning over people. So I have no doubt that we'll win over people, and that ties into the EP, is because I believe that out of those 5 songs, there is a song for anybody who likes music.
Right.
Not That Way is sort of a radio-friendly hit. It's not really heavy metal. It's not even really, I consider it maybe rock and roll. I wouldn't consider it hard rock. Toxic's a little heavier.
Right.
Kind of got that heavy roll. Chains is sort of a heavy melodic song.
Great song.
Red Rain is just a driving hard heavy metal. It's not heavy metal, but hard rock song. It's just a hard rocking song. And then What Is Love For is, the ballad. You got to have a ballad. So,
right.
But I think out of anybody who just likes music in general, they can find one song they like. I think that's important.
That definitely is. I mean, having that diversity. I mean, because when you got a crowd, like say you got Lita Ford's crowd. I mean, you're going to get people that are like diehard metalheads, and you're going to get people that that like say old Lita Ford stuff, which was heavier, and then now she's more into the she was more mainstream in the 80s, and you guys touch all those bases, with the EP and everything that you do, and
yeah,
it's a necessity.
And that is what I think is really important. Like we've got so the classic metal show has really reached out to a lot of people. We got the. It's funny, one of the guys, because they have a live chat room when they're on, and I go in there at night if I'm home, and we got this one fan who's just been a great guy, and he's up in Grand Rapids, so he's like salivating that we're coming.
Right.
And one thing he said to me, and I've given him my email, we talked, he said, I just can't wait to hear What Is Love For live. And I'm thinking to myself, really?
Yeah.
I didn't say this, they got all the songs, that's the one you want to see live, the ballad. Okay, well.
That's great.
Which is cool,
Right,
I mean, that's a great feeling. I mean, it really is, but I mean, I'm a little, one of my favorite songs off the CD is Red Rain. I just like that hard driving, that hard driving.
That is a great song.
Of the guitar and the bass on that.
Right.
But, hey man, to each his own, and look, I'm just happy somebody likes it and wants to hear it, so whatever song it is.
So what?
I have no shame. I'll sell whatever I got to sell.
Right, that's it. Hey, that's what you're in it for, man.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you want people to, to be responsive and react to it. And that's a good feeling. I mean, you guys deserve it. as
Well,
musicians.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Really do.
I really do. I mean that. I mean, it's it's nice to hear that stuff, because our hometown doesn't back us. It's a tough town. I don't know if you've been to Richmond, but it's tough.
I have been. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've been down there.
Well, and obviously that a couple big bands are from here. Lamb of God's from here.
Right.
We actually practice right beside Lamb of God.
Oh, really?
Oh my gosh! And I'll tell you one thing. When they're practicing beside you. Wow. Whew.
Oh, I can imagine.
Chris Adler is a beast on those drums, man.
Right.
But Guar's from here.
I didn't know Guar was from there.
Yeah, Guar's from here, and Firehouse is from here.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So actually, Bill Leverty is a little older, but we went to the same high school, and he was friends with my brothers. I have 2 older brothers.
Right.
So Bill graduated with them. So yeah. So, but they don't play Richmond. I mean, Lamb of God rarely plays Richmond. Guar, actually, we just brought on a good friend of mine who used to promote here in Richmond, and he works with Guar a little bit, and he was telling me Guar probably won't play Richmond again because nobody backs it, Nobody will come out.
It's a shame.
We're a following town.
Right. I get you. I mean, we're kind of like that in Pittsburgh. I mean, we got we have the hard rock scene here.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty heavily involved in it. I have a record label too that's built off of what we have here, and we have 2 bands signed, and our guys are. I mean, there's so many great bands, that are out there in these local scenes that the people just don't give them the attention, and it's sad, and that's kind of like what we're trying to do here. We're trying to, kind of like give back to you guys as musicians, to say, hey.
Right.
I grew up with this music. I still love it. I love interviewing, guys like yourself and, bands that are up and coming that, deserve to get the attention. I mean, if we don't get the attention out, and help you guys to promote it, we're killing ourselves.
Right.
As fans.
Well, here's the funny thing. And so I've said this before, too, and I really believe this. And I don't really have much to back it up, but I believe this because I do some reading, but I'm not a huge fan of rap, okay? Listen, I think there's some really talented guys. I mean, some of the older rap, there's some really breakthrough artists there. I mean, like NWA was just a beast. They were great, and
right.
And Public Enemy and stuff. I mean, that kind of stuff was awesome. But the one thing about the rap world is they will go out and find new talent, and they'll bring them up. And they'll let these young rap artists or hip-hop artists open for them at some big venues. Rock and roll doesn't do that anymore.
Right.
And, it amazes me because, bands like Van Halen, they're infamously known for not putting unsigned bands up there, but Van Halen and Aerosmith and all these bands, they could really take bands that are unsigned and get them some exposure, and Kiss and all that, and they just don't do it. And so it's like the pipeline is stuck because there's no outlet to get out there unless you pay thousands of dollars to be on the same stage with them.
Right.
And that's a tough sell, but we don't have money. We're not playing for the money. We're playing for the love of music, and we're trying to build an audience like they did.
Right.
And so I think that's one thing that kills music. I think record labels, even though they're, like the major ones, they're not looking for rock and roll. They're looking for what's pretty and what's cute, and and that kills it. And then my third thing is I think shows like The Voice and American Idol have killed music because it doesn't teach these kids what it's like to really, sling your gear to a bar and play in front of 1 people. You do that for 6 months, you're not going to continue. But they make them believe that if you're a star and if you win, you're going to make millions. I mean, I think that kills music as well.
Man,
I think hardening yourself and learning to play bars and come home smelling like, well, back in the day, like smoke, or you spill beer on you because it's crowded, or on your equipment. I mean, that's part of being in a band. Right.
People.
So that's my feeling. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I agree. I totally agree with you. People don't understand. I mean, I played before, but I wasn't a musician, and we just, we played, but growing up, with people that were musicians and the love of the music and everything, people just don't appreciate anymore, the dedication that it takes. I mean, it's not like you said, you're not doing it, for the sake of making money. You're doing it for the love of the music, and to be able to, for us as fans to appreciate that, you really got to sit back and say, hey, what are these guys going through to get this to us, so we can enjoy it, and they're making a sacrifice, so you got to appreciate that.
Well, it's funny you say that, and again, I said it's amazing, because like I was talking to somebody the other day, and I've said all this stuff. It's like, do you know? So we're playing 3 shows with Tesla. We get 30 minutes, okay, and that's great. That's awesome. But for those 30 minutes each night, we worked 6 to 8 months just to play for 30 minutes. See, that's what people don't understand. The rehearsing, the on the phone constantly. Chip needs information. Because we all work during the day, but like I said, I deal with Chip, but I got to stop doing them at work to get Chip. It takes time and effort. You're right, and people don't understand. And I wouldn't expect people to understand that. And that's because I don't know what other people do in their jobs every day. I get that, but if I was doing this for money, I would have quit 2 years ago.
Right.
That's the thing. So there has to be a love or passion for it.
Right.
My biggest thing was one of the biggest goals I ever met, because like you said about David Lee Roth back in the solo, but I saw Van Halen in Hampton Coliseum in '82, and then I saw David Lee's very first solo on the Eat 'em and Smile tour. The very first show he ever did was in Hampton. That was his first show, and I saw it. But and Hampton was such a great place. It was it's right near the Virginia Beach and all this stuff. So my goal ever was and I told people, I would have loved to play Hampton Coliseum, a sold-out Hampton Coliseum. I probably would have been done, because that was my goal. That was 11,000 people. If I could have done that, I probably would have never played again.
Right.
Because that was my goal. It wasn't to make millions. Wasn't for, believe it or not, it wasn't for women. It was to play. My goal was to always play in front of as many people as I could.
Right.
So and that's a great goal to have, because I can always still try to achieve it. So if we go on Tesla, like I know like the Michigan show I think holds close to 3,000. Okay, that's awesome, but that's a great goal to get, and I'll take that any day of the week. But I'd like to play in front of 5,000 to 10,000 people, and then if I hit the 10,000 mark, I'd like to play in front of 20. You know what I mean? It's a good goal, because I can never achieve that goal, and so it keeps me hungry.
Right, I think that's great. You're motivated, and I think another thing that comes across, now that you mentioned that, on the EP is the band's hungry. You could tell a band that's sitting back and just accepting, where they're at. But you guys, as a band, even with the 5-song EP that just came up, it's a hungry band. Yeah. And it comes across in the music, and I think that's great.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, we're always. That's the thing. We're always looking for shows. I go home at night, when I get home from work, my wife, my family, we have dinner, and then my daughter, I spend time with my daughter, and then when she goes to bed, my wife has a little downtime for her. I get on the computer, and I look for upcoming shows. That's all I do. We're always looking to get out and play live, because, as well as I do, like you said, playing live is really where you're going to win over people.
Exactly.
Because you're not going to get radio play, even though we're trying, but that's not where we're going to make our mark. Our mark is if we get out there and play live. So, this is great. Somebody asked me the other day, hey, what are you going to do after the Tesla shows? Well, I'm going to drive home from Michigan, go to bed, and I'm going to go to work the next day.
Right, right.
It's like, so, we always constantly have to be looking for the next show. And so we're hungry enough to do it. And, hopefully we can tag on the added Tesla show here in our hometown. That would be good for us in September. But
right.
I send our booking agent. I send Chip 2 or 3 shows that I see daily. Yeah, I never stop.
That's great, being hungry like that, and it comes across in the music. Like I said earlier, when a fan throws a CD in and they say, "Man, these guys are really kicking it here," it comes across. The professionalism comes across as well.
Well, thank you. It's funny. So Bubba and I played the band before Red Rain. We were a band called Seth here in Richmond, and we actually opened for a couple big bands. We actually opened for the original Quiet, what I call the MTV Quiet Riot.
Right.
With Rudy Sarzo and Carlos and Frankie, and this was before Kevin DeBrow passed away. So we got to be on stage with them. We also opened for Cheap Trick in Richmond.
That's cool.
I love Cheap Trick.
Right, that's cool.
But the reason I was telling you that is, so this Cheap Trick show we played, It's an outdoor venue here in Richmond. It's called Innsbruck After Hours, and it's just this. But anyway, so we got off stage, and we went over. We were trying to sell a little bit of merchandise. We weren't selling a lot, but somebody. So I was behind there, and I kind of started walking away to kind of talk to people. And this one person grabbed me, and they said, "You know what? I really, really loved your song." And it was a song. I don't even remember what song it was, and they were describing how they loved their song, and I thought that was the greatest thing. That was more than any money,
right?
Anything that we had done, right. Because when you go out there and play all originals, and first of all, that's 50% of the battle, that you're going to have to win people over by playing stuff they don't know.
Right.
And so that's why I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. And so, that's another thing for me is I was going to live or die by the sword. I'm doing it my way. And when I put this band together, I told the guys, look, if we play a cover, the maximum is going to be 2 covers, one in the beginning and one in the end. We're not doing covers. It's been done, and if anybody wants to play in a cover band, this isn't the band for you.
Right.
And so, so that, again, that's the greatest thing in the world, is when somebody tells you they like your song. So, you never get tired of hearing it. I'm not an egomaniac, but, I'm not looking for that. But when people tell you that, it's one of the best feelings in the world.
It motivates.
As a musician.
It motivates you too. I mean, it helps you to, to press on. I mean, you think, hey, if you've touched one person, you've achieved the goal, and if you keep doing that, it's fantastic. Right.
Yeah, and again, it like you said, it keeps us hungry. It keeps us hungry. So when the guys hear that people like, if 5 people like us, they're looking for 8 people to like us. You know what I mean? So
right.
Always, there is no achievable goal, and that's the great part. Like again, like I said, I could play in front of 100,000 people. That's awesome, and that's probably the greatest goal in the world. But I want to play in front of 200,000 people. You know what I mean? It's just
right.
The goal will never be achieved.
Right.
So it keeps you fighting.
Keep rolling.
So yeah.
Hey, how about as far as you got the EP, and you guys had the the full length before this, and the EP. Is there plans for a full length album coming out in the future?
Good question. Yeah, I think so. We're just not at that point yet. We have been writing. We've already written when I say written, we have a lot of parts for about 7 or 8 songs already.
Right.
We just haven't been able to concentrate on them, because once we start kind of writing, then a show comes up. So we really focus on our shows. I mean, again, for Quiet Riot, we knew about that a month in advance. So every time we rehearsed, it was the show.
Right.
So we don't really leave, and we don't have a lot of time to rehearse. So we go in and we make sure the show's tight.
Right.
But yes, I think eventually, as things continue, as long as everything's continual positive. I mean, we have self-funded our own band, and that's been sort of a rough go. So hopefully, if we can find somebody to help us fund it, then we would definitely do it. If not, it may take a little longer to do follow-up.
Right. It's just the nature of it all. But,
yeah. But I think really the concentration is, and we'll keep writing. Again, so if after this Tesla show we don't have another show for a couple months, and even if we get the other Tesla show in Richmond in September, I don't know if we'll get any more shows the rest of the year. So that really give us October, November, December to really kind of buckle down and write, because that's really what the plan is.
Right, and to see you guys live, I mean, is there any, I was going to ask you, like, if somebody like myself, is not able to get to a show, is there anything that you guys are going to do as far as, maybe putting out a show on YouTube or anything like that? I mean, I know the fans do it, but sometimes it's not, quality-wise.
Yeah. No, we haven't. You know what, to be honest with you, that's a great idea. We've never even thought about that. So that's a great idea. The problem is, while we're traveling. Now, you know what? That might be something we'll do if we get this Richmond show. That might be something we'll do, because we won't have to travel and spend money. If we can all put in a little money to have somebody really video it professionally. But going to the 3 shows we're doing, we're already paying for out of our pocket to travel, and we've got our band manager coming. We have one of the guys' fathers who's sort of younger. He's going to help kind of roadie. We have another guy that's going to roadie. So, we're not paying them, but obviously we got to help them with gas and lodging. So, those are the priority now. But if we have some in our hometown where we don't have to put those expenses, then yeah, I think if we can get this one, that was one thing I thought of, is to video the whole show. So yeah, there's a possibility, but at this point, I don't want to say no, but at this point, we don't have one and we haven't planned on it. If that makes sense, I just kind of contradicted myself.
No. I got you. I got you.
Sometimes I talk in circles. Sometimes you got to ring me in. So.
No, I think you're in, man. It's perfect. That's a perfect answer. I mean, people are just looking, to hear you guys. And how about any last words, Sam? I mean, we went over, a lot of stuff, and anybody that's listening out there, I want you to hear these guys. Listen to these guys. RedRainBand.com. I mean, it's a great combination of so many things. If you like, classic 80s rock, 80s hard rock, 80s metal, like I was telling Sam, in the interview here, is a little Night Ranger influence there. I hear in some of the songs, and hard-working band and an up-and-coming band. I mean, I could see, big things for these guys. So get out there and listen to them.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's I just know if you come to the show and you see the band play, you're gonna have a great time. And not only we have a great time, but we'd love to meet you. So when you come out to the show, wait till the show's over. So obviously, when we're with Tesla, we have to wait till they're off stage, and then once they're off stage, we're gonna be at the merch table, and we'd love to meet and talk to people, because that's where we're really gonna hopefully win over fans and listen to the feedback, whether it be positive or not positive. But
right.
You enjoy a good rock show when you come see Red Rain.
And a great EP too. I mean, it's a professional EP too. It's not just 5 songs. It's 5 songs that are very well produced. I mean, these guys are, you can tell they're a hard-working band, and great songwriting as well. Songwriting and musicianship. So
again, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
No problem, man. Is there any last words you want to get out there, Sam, for the fans?
Just go listen to it. Go listen, and I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you I'm going to lay out there my email. So if anybody's got any comments, I'd love to hear them. But it's redraininfo@gmail.com, and that's REDREIGNINFO@gmail.com. Come say hello. Come tell me what you think of the songs. Tell me what you think of the EP, whether it's positive or not positive. I'd love to hear feedback.
You got it.
That, I'd love to see everybody at the show.
You got it, man. I think that's perfect. RedRainBand.com for everybody that's listening. Sam, I just want to say thanks, man. Thanks. Not only for taking the time to sit with me, but for putting out a great piece of music, for fans to enjoy, and sticking to your guns too, man. I mean, it's great to hear, a guy that gets out there and says, hey, this is what I like, when I was growing up, and these are my influences, and sticking with it, and the band sounds great, man. You got me for a fan for life, man.
Well, I appreciate it, John, and as always, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me, because if it wasn't for guys like you who help spread the word, it'd be nothing, and it's for what not. And so I'm more appreciative that you actually took the time to talk to me. And then the last thing I'll say is this: a good song is a good song, and a good song will over the span of time always beat out time. In other words, like I said, people say, "Oh, it sounds like the '80s." Well, you know what? If you're an Elvis fan, does that make you a '60s fan? No, Elvis had great songs. If you're a Beatles fan, does that make you a child? You just love a good song. It is timeless.
You're right.
And we think we've hit on a couple of those songs.
Agreed.
So anyway, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And anytime, if you ever want to talk again, you know my number. You know how to get in touch with me. I'd love to talk to you again, because this was fun. Absolutely, man. I enjoyed it too. We'll get the word out for you too, man. I mean, our website. This interview will be put together as a video presentation, which I will get out to you before we release it. If you want to go over anything, and even if anything that you want to add to it, pictures or anything that you want to get out there, we'll make sure we get your contact information website wise, and really get you some promotion out there, on our end. I mean, just to give back for you.
to you.
Well, I really appreciate that. And, you know, if you can ever make a show, let me know, and we'll, you know, I don't know what we can do backstage. We'd love to get you in the room so you can talk to the guys as well. But feel free. If you ever think you can make one, we'll make something happen.
Oh, I would love to, man. I mean, you know, you guys are within the vicinity here, within reach. So it's not too out of the question. You just have to figure out the time.
I'll keep you in. I've got your email. And you got mine, right? You obviously got the Red Rain info. That's the best way to get in touch with me. But
right.
if we get this Tesla in Richmond, maybe you can make it down there. It's a Friday night, so you know, right. Maybe you can make it down and get here early, and we can you can meet the guys in the band, or you know, and then or afterwards, because on the National, I think you have to be off stage 11, and you know, we can after the show meet some people and have a drink and just talk. So I'd love to meet you, and again, I can't thank you enough for your time.
I'd love to meet you as well, man. And if I don't talk to you, in the recent days here, or the upcoming days, I wish you nothing but the best. And with the EP, with the with the Tesla shows, I know you guys will kill it. And we'll get the word out for you. RedRainBand.com. Sam on drums. I mean, these guys are. It's a great EP. I mean, 5 songs that will definitely make you listen through multiple times.
Well, John, thanks again.
All right, Sam. You have a good day, man.
You too. Take care.
Thanks. I'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.